Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and welcome to another Asian DVD collection addendum video. Now tonight we got a nice variety again, at least in terms of country of origin, as well as the kinds of films that I got. So we got 3 from mainland China, we got 3 films that are from South Korea, and then 3 films from Japan. So some pretty exciting purchases actually here that we're going to go through. Now let's go through the mainland Chinese films first. Now these are 3 films that I bought a few weeks ago around the same time because they're in the same time frame of my movie watching experience. You know, they were kind of near the beginning of my exploration of Asian cinema. You know, during the mid-2000s I watched these, and they all kind of made a little bit of an impact on me because I hadn't really seen films like this before. So let's get to them. The first one, Postmen in the Mountains. Yes, Postmen in the Mountains. Now, set in the fairy tale wilderness of Hunan province, this is a visually gorgeous, pleasant, and sometimes poignant film of an old story between a father and a son. Now, slowed down by arthritis, a middle-aged rural postman passes his route on to his son, whom he takes on his final trip. Now, as the pair and their loyal and resourceful dog wander around misty terrain like figures in a Chinese landscape painting, the love, pride, and dedication revealed is as deep as the rich emerald backdrop. Yeah, again, I've seen this movie maybe over 10 years ago, and I remember this one being really good. There's kind of a simplistic premise, right? But there's a lot to enjoy. There's a lot of, it's more of like a character interaction film. It's one of those films where, like, if you have a hard day of work and you want to get away to a nice, almost like rural, foresty environment and hang out with 2 postmen for an hour and a half, this is an excellent movie. It's got some really cool interaction with, like, the residents. Obviously, the environments and the scoring are outstanding. This is a very relaxing film, but it's also really well made. And I may do a separate review of this one after I rewatch it. I want to rewatch this one at some point over the next month or so. So, one of the actors in this is a guy who shows up quite a bit. His name is Hyo-joo, and he was in A City of Life and Death, which I covered. When did I cover that? A month or 2 ago? One of the best war films ever made. He was in that one, a significant role. He was in another one I'm gonna show you here. He was in a bunch of stuff. He's a good actor, and he's in this as well. So if you're a fan of him, it's another reason to watch this. But I remember this being cool. Very much look forward to rewatching this one. Another one that's kind of a rural Chinese language film. We got Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress. Yeah, so this is based on the international bestseller. It's set in the early 1970s during the later stages of China's Cultural Revolution. 2 city-bred teenage best friends, one played by Hyo-joo again, are sent to the backwards mountainous region for a Maoist re-education. Now, they see and fall in love with a local beauty played by Soo-bin, of course, arguably my favorite actress of all time. She's the daughter of the most renowned tailor in the region, so she captivates them with her innocence and sensuality. So yes, this is another very good kind of rural, mountainous region film that has a really relaxing tone to it, really entertaining stuff. Kind of surprises you. One of the themes is like the juxtaposition between city and rural life, like in terms of education levels, priorities in life, music, reading, and of course you have another film here with some excellent forest scenery. So again, I very much look forward to rewatching this for the first time in over 10 years, and if it holds up, I may do a review of this one as well on this channel. So yes, Soo-bin. I'm trying to add as many of her films into my collection as I can. another one. This is the last mainland Chinese film here, and it's arguably the most critically acclaimed, Suzhou River, starring Zo Shun, of course. Now this one has a really interesting story to it. Along the banks of the river, which winds precariously throughout Shanghai, Marta falls in love with a dramatically beautiful young woman named Mudan, played by Zo Shun, of course. I mean, who wouldn't fall in love with her? Let's be honest. Now, when he tries to kidnap her in order to demand ransom money from her father, she escapes and jumps into a river, disappearing forever. Now, Marta serves a 3-year jail sentence for this crime. After he gets released, he meets a woman who looks exactly like the girl. Her name is Mei Mei, though, and it's also played by Zo Shun. So it's a very interesting premise to this film. Very stylistic, very stylish, and almost like psychological, I would say, too. Really good stuff. It says on the front it has a Hitchcockian style to it. So yes, again, I very much look forward to watching this. This is one where I think you need to kind of use your brain a little bit. It's well written. It requires some thought on the part of the viewer to piece some things together. So it's one of those films. So when I'm in a little bit of thinking mood, I'm definitely going to rewatch this one along with the others, and it might receive a separate review on this channel. So all 3 of these purchases I was really excited to buy them. It was one of those situations where you don't forget about the movies, but they kind of pass through your mind. They go to the back of your mind for a while. And then when I was looking through my ratings list or whatever to see what movies I wanted to add to my collection, and I saw them, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's time. And I didn't know if they were still on DVD or not, and they are in Region 1 DVD. Not too expensive either. So I picked them up. It's going to be good times. Now our next 2 films are films that I already reviewed in full-length reviews on this channel. We're in the South Korean part now. And this is Madonna. You can check out my full review of this one. Good flick. It is a good flick. Let me look up my little notes here. Now, a nurse's aide is in charge of an important patient who is completely paralyzed and awaits a heart transplant. After a brain-dead prostitute arrives at the hospital, the nurse is coerced into obtaining an organ donor consent from her next of kin. Along the way, she uncovers the girl's sad life story. So yeah, this is definitely a downer of a movie, but it's a quality film. It's got good character development to it, good performances. It's communicated in interesting ways. There's some social commentary in it too, and this is from the same director as Pluto. If you're familiar with Pluto, that's also a very good quality film that I need to add to my collection at some point soon as well. So yeah, this is a good flick. Definitely check it out if you have the means. It's pretty interesting. But again, it's a bit of a doubter. All right, our next one tonight is another one that I reviewed with a full-length review on my channel, and I actually enjoyed it even more than Madonna. And this one is called The Liar, and it's got my sweetie in it, well, one of my sweeties, Kkob-bi Kim. Let's see here, what do we got? Here we go. Now, this movie was released in 2014 at film festivals. I don't even think it hit DVD until this year. So, yeah, but I got it. Now, this is about a young woman who lives with her downbeat brother and alcoholic sister, but she's a compulsive liar who constantly gives the impression that she has more money than she actually has. Now, she lives this facade while in the presence of others, as well as when she's by herself. So there's definitely a serious psychological problem here at play. And that's what this film revolves around. You have kind of like an interesting situation where it really delves into this, I don't know what you would call it, psychological condition. She's kind of cold-hearted in that regard, but she also cares about her siblings, so it gives her a multidimensionality. Obviously, the theme of commercialism is omnipresent, Kkob-bi Kim gives a great performance in this. It's one of the best of her career, I think. This is a really good movie. The ending, it kind of sticks its ending, too. It's a very ironic and interesting ending. Again, this one and Madonna are Region 3 releases. Region 3 with subtitles. Glad I have this in my collection, too. This is one, it's an interesting film that I will definitely rewatch quite a bit in the future, I think. So, it's good. Oh, this next one was a big purchase. Spent a little bit too much money on it, but I don't care. We got a K-drama to add to my collection. Brilliant Legacy, also known as Shining Inheritance. Now this one, talk about a loaded cast. Alright, you got Hyo-joo right there. You got Seung-ki Lee right there. You got Chae-won here. And then you have Soo-bin here. Now, if you look close enough, you probably recognize everybody in this. Now, Hyo-joo I've covered plenty of times before on this channel. And I haven't really seen Seung-ki Lee that much. I've seen him in a few other K-dramas that were quite good, actually. I like him, too. He's good in this. Chae-won is an actress that I think is quite underrated. She's kind of a K-drama queen, this girl. And she doesn't really get a whole lot of credit. This girl all the way at the end here. Some of her K-dramas include Brilliant Legacy, which is really good. The Painter of Wind, which is a very good K-drama. My Fair Lady, which I think is very underrated and very entertaining. I have not seen two of her other ones, The Princess's Man and The Innocent Man I haven't seen, but those get good reviews. And then I watched Good Doctor a few years ago, and that was good. So, she was also the female lead in War of the Arrows, Love Forecast, and Mood of the Day. So, this girl's pretty reliable, you know? So, you got Hyo-joo and her and these other... I mean, this is just loaded. And this is a K-drama that has... it does all of the cliches right. You know what I mean? Some people complain about the cliches, like I do. I've complained about them before, but this really unloads the cliches in good ways. So you have a girl who's ditched by her stepmother, but befriends a rich old woman and moves in with the family. And she's got some spoiled grandkids, this old lady. So she decides to give her business inheritance to this new girl, and that causes all kinds of problems. So the cool thing about this show, and I'm sure I will do a K-drama review of it after I rewatch it this year, but this has like a lot of deception. There's a lot. The stepmother in this is one of the most vile and reprehensible characters ever in a K-drama. I just want to punch her in the face the whole time. And so you have that aspect to it, and it's like this. I would compare it to like a house of cards. If you build a house of cards, this evil stepmother lies to all the family members who are kind of separated from each other to gain an advantage. And throughout the series, you're just waiting for one of these characters to find out how much of an evil wench she is. And that's really what has a lot of interest in this show. It's very, I think it's actually quite well written, even though it's really based on a series of contrivances, too. You know what I mean? But I'll get into it in more detail as to why I love it so much after I rewatch it. So, Brilliant Legacy. I'm very glad that I have that in my collection now. It's one of those K-dramas that I felt like I just had to have. And I really like the color of this, too. It's got like that bright green springtime color to it. I really like this set. What type of special features do we got here? We got interviews, a talk show, bloopers, behind the scenes. It's got, man, it says it's got 145 minutes. Special features? Wow, I gotta check that out. Cool. The Korean, these releases don't have special features. What about these? What about the Chinese language stuff? Any special features? No. 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 Alright, time to move on to the Japanese. The Japanese films. Alright. We have a Miike film, Detective Story. I covered this just a few weeks ago in my Miike playlist. Check out my Miike playlist. I covered it. Pretty interesting movie. Not one of Miike's best, but it's awkward. It has a really awkward sense of humor that makes it interesting and kind of fun. It's a bit of an oddity. Even for Miike, it's a little bit of an oddity. So I think it's worth checking out. You get like these two guys who get together and they investigate a series of murders and stuff. It's pretty good flick. No special features, I don't think. But yeah, it's pretty good. All right, here's another one that I have to review in recent weeks coming up. Ballet from Shinya Tsukamoto. Again, I'm making my way through his filmography. I reviewed a good chunk of his stuff, if you include the stuff in the Asian Horror playlist and the separate reviews. This is one that I have yet to cover. I haven't seen this one in a while. I'm really excited to have it in my collection. So you have Shinya Tsukamoto, who directed Tetsuo the Iron Man, of course, continues his investigation into the deviant symbiosis of city and citizen in this highly acclaimed bullet ballet. So it's this guy named Goda is a successful director of commercials. He has his life taken apart by the suicide of his girlfriend, who was shot herself with a gun that she was holding for her friend. Becoming obsessed by the need to possess a Smith & Wesson Chief's Special, Goda begins his willful downward descent into a whirlpool of violence. So Tsukamoto also stars in this, as he likes to do. This is a pretty cool flick. Shot in black and white. There's some interesting stuff, some memorable sequences and intense scenes in this. You got some special features here, interview with the director, trailer biofilmographies, full-length commentary with Tom Mess, the writer of Iron Man, the Cinema of Shinya Tsukamoto, which was an excellent book. So, yes, I look forward to rewatching this one. And, if there's enough content in it, which I'm sure there will be, maybe I'll do a review separate for this as well. I'm making a lot of promises in this video for reviews. I already told you I'm going to review everything. So what is that, 3, 4, 5 more reviews I'm going to have to do? It'll be fun. And last, but certainly not least, oh no, we're gonna get into a little anime here. A little anime. Cyber City Oedo 808. Oh yeah. That's right, baby. This is old school trashing anime. So here's the premise. Set in the year 2808, 3 criminals are offered a choice. Spend the rest of your lives aboard a maximum security orbital prison, or return to Earth as agents as the cyber police. Well, the decision's pretty simple. Parole violations will be rare, as each criminal is fitted with a booby-trapped, highly explosive collar which operates on a 24-hour timer. So these guys, they're a hodgepodge of criminals, and they go after these other criminals to get years off their sentences. Now, the most memorable aspect of this film is the English dub track, which is just phenomenal. There's a very rare... I always watch stuff in Japanese, even anime where you have the option, really, to watch it in Japanese or English. I usually prefer the Japanese voice acting, 99% of the time. But this is a case where the English dub is so hilarious. Just the vulgarity alone, like within the first 5 minutes, these guys are dropping F-bombs and this and that. Oh, there was some... I was on the floor laughing. They actually swear at the robots in this. The guy's a little robot buddy, and he just tells him to F off. And it's just great. It's fantastic. And obviously, there's a lot of action in this, and it's fun to watch, but the English dub kind of takes it to the other level, just because it's so funny. Like, this is like Riki-Oh, the story of Ricky. You know, you can't watch that in Cantonese. You gotta watch that English dubbed. This is the same thing. So if you want some old school trashy anime, it's like a 2-hour film. It's broken up into 3 short films of 40 minutes each. Check out Cyber City Oedo 808, baby. It's a good evening of entertainment. Crack open a beer, some Japanese whiskey, You'll thank me later. So that's the haul for this time. I got a lot more, a good amount more DVDs that I've been purchasing, so look forward to more of these updates over the next few months for ideas for your Christmas shopping list. And as always, I will see you next time.